Hello kids, this is my second video on equations of motion. In this video I am basically going to explain how do we use the three equations of motion to solve a particular question. For example, in this question we have to calculate the acceleration for a body starting from rest if its final velocity is 20 meters per second after 5 seconds. We also have to calculate the distance covered here. Now, according to the physical quantities given to us, u is 0 because it starts from rest, final velocity is 20 meters per second and time is 5 seconds. Now to calculate the acceleration we have the formula a is equal to v minus u upon t. Putting the values of v, u and t, we get acceleration as 4 meters per second square. Here in this case we can use either of the two equations of motion to find the distance. Either it is s is equal to ut plus half at square or 2as is equal to v square minus u square. Children, we will first use the first equation, s is equal to ut plus half at square. Putting the values, we get s is equal to 15 meters. Let us try to solve this same question with the help of the second equation of motion for distance travel, that is 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So the answer comes out to be same, that is s is equal to 15 meters for the distance travel. See children, the physical quantities available to you will help you to decide which formula you will use to calculate the distance travel. In this particular question, the motorboat starts from rest and it accelerates at the rate of 3 meters per second square for 8 seconds. We have to calculate the distance travel during this time. First, we will write the physical quantities given to us. U is 0 because it starts from rest. Acceleration is 3 meters per second square and time is 8. Now, we have the quantities u, t, a and s. So, the best formula that we can use to calculate the distance traveled would be s is equal to ut plus half at square, not this one, because here you require the final velocity which is not given. If you want to use this formula, then you have to first find out the final velocity. That would be an extra step. So we will use this formula to calculate the distance traveled, putting the values of u, t and a. So here the distance traveled comes out to be 96 meters. Coming to next question, the brakes are applied to stop a car and produce an acceleration of 6 meters per second square, and this acceleration is in the opposite direction. The car takes 2 seconds to stop and we have to calculate the distance it travels during this time. Now children, if you observe carefully, then I have highlighted this part, opposite direction to motion. When I say opposite direction to motion, means the acceleration is negative. How do you make out that acceleration is negative? When a body comes to rest, acceleration is always in the opposite direction, so it is always negative. So here acceleration is minus 6 meters per second square. Time is 2 seconds. Final velocity is 0. Why? When a body comes to rest, its final velocity is 0. When a body starts from rest, its initial velocity is 0, but when it comes to rest, that is when it stops, its final velocity is 0. Now to calculate the distance traveled, we can use either of these two formula over here, because here in this case the initial velocity is not given, and here in this case also initial velocity is not given. So if you want to use either of these two formula, you need to have the initial velocity. For calculating that, we will use the formula v is equal to u plus at. Now we will bring this u on left hand side like this, and we get u is equal to v minus at. Putting the value of v, a and t, we get initial velocity as 12 meters per second. Now because we already have got u, we can use either of these two formula to calculate the distance traveled. We will use the formula s is equal to ut plus half at square. Putting the values, we get s is equal to 12 meters. So children, this is how you calculate the distance traveled. You can decide the formula which you want to use depending upon the physical quantities available to you.